Last minute live. Ha ha ha. Hello, how are you? What's up? Hello, Kevin. Hello, Dennis. Oh, I don't know. I'm back now. Why do you have little crowns? What does that mean? Cool. What's up, guys? Ha. Yes, they did. I'm in the country. We could have aliens. This would be like a good spot for an alien to come. Well, don't say it, because now they're going to come. I don't want to be abducted. They'll be more regular, hopefully, now. I miss them too, a lot, actually. Anywho, so I am very excited to see that Trump is cracking down on DC. Obviously, you have Democrats that are big mad, that are just finding a very strange hill to die on. A very, very strange hill. But this is an update so far. Here is Caroline Levitt.
Distribution of illegal drugs. And I have some updated statistics for you. Overnight, there were 45 criminal arrests made for assault, second and first degree. There were arrests made for the distribution of illegal drugs and narcotics that have now been removed off of the streets. There were 3 illegal firearms that were seized. And in addition to that, there were...
That's in just one night. Just one night.
29 illegal aliens who were removed off of Washington, D.C. streets.
One night.
Last night, many of whom had final orders of removal. So these results are happening night after night because of the efforts of this federal task force that are working alongside the Metropolitan Police Department, who agree with this effort. In fact, the Metropolitan Police Department union stated that President Trump is right to do this, that crime has been totally out of control in the city, and the residents of Washington, maybe not the journalists because they don't want to admit President Trump is right, who live here, but the residents agree. According to a Washington Post poll, 65% of DC residents say that crime is a very serious problem in the District of Columbia. And while Democrats want to rant and rave and coddle criminals...
Again, it's a really strange hill to die on for Democrats. Like, I think it was on MSNBC where Joe Scarborough was like, it's a trap. Trump just brilliantly trapped Democrats into being pro-crime.
President Trump wants to put them behind bars, and that's what this task force is focused on doing for the next 28 days.
Carolina, I know that the president can do this for 30 days if he notifies the right committees in Congress, which he did. There were some stories that Democrats were spreading the narrative. We don't need the National Guard in there because crime has gone down around 30%, 26%, I think, this past year, and 35% the year before that. And then we heard those numbers might be inaccurate. They might be false in some...
There was underreporting, so that is true. I can't find the exact news publication at the time right now, but that is true. A report came out that they're underreporting crime and not being honest about the actual statistics, which happens.
People were let go or they were suspended, right, Brian, from their jobs because of it. Can you clear that up for us? Are those numbers correct?
Yeah, these numbers are absolutely correct, and we will continue to provide the American public and the press with the numbers because we're proud of these efforts. If the Democrats had their way, there would be hundreds more criminals roaming free in the streets of the District of Columbia right now. There would be hundreds of more illegal aliens who this task force has already detained and arrested, and now they are focused on deporting from our country. Those individuals would remain in the District of Columbia where they would have been free to do more harm. And that's not counting all of the would-be criminals that may have committed violent crimes and maybe taken the lives of law-abiding residents of this city, if not for the deterrence. There is a huge law enforcement presence here in our nation's capital. Just drive through the streets and you will see it. And that helps to deter crime. We saw this decades ago in New York City when it was once a safe city. The president is implementing those same law and order strategies that work. History is on our side with this, and we know the people are on our side with this. So we're going to continue to enforce our nation's laws.
I like her. I like her. I don't know how you could, yes, news. We're doing news. We're talking about Washington, D.C. and what's going on there. I'm okay with it. And you know what's so hypocritical? Somebody is weed whacking right outside my window. Sorry about that. What is so hypocritical is one of the people Trump literally bragged about crime is an all-time low in D.C. When did he brag about that? I doubt he would be deploying the National Guard if he thought it was at an all-time low. It's definitely not. February? Let's see. Based on information available, Donald Trump did not state in February 2025 that crime in Washington, D.C. is at an all-time low. In fact, reports indicate that the opposite, that Trump has recently expressed concerns about crime in the city. That is so loud. Why are you right there right now? Crime in the city, stating that it is out of control and describing it as an emergency. However, some reports indicate that crime statistics suggest that crime in Washington, D.C. has fallen in both 2024 and 25. The Department of Justice reported total violent crimes for 2024 in D.C. was down 35%. That's what Caroline Levin was just talking about, how those numbers are possibly falsified. That is so loud. It could be a spaceship. See, we shouldn't have started talking about that. Now I got spaceships. But I mean, like, if they're deploying guards, it might be good, right? Crime rate will be low as Washington, D.C. is your capital. Am I wrong? Yeah, well, it'll definitely get lower with the National Guard. But I mean, if they're deploying guards, it might be good. Okay, I'm ignoring it. I'm bothered. What's so hypocritical, though, is one of the governors that's like calling out Trump and calling him all kinds of dictators and all of that is Gavin Newsom. Okay, in 2020, I was living in Los Angeles. I lived in... Thank you so much, Stuart. Yeah, violent crime is down, but police are not responding to shoplifting. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, I actually was listening to a story recently of somebody who was called for like a carjacking or something, and the police laughed. That's how bad it is. Yeah, but when crime is out of control, they stop responding to a lot of things. Oh, but I wanted to get back to telling you, Gavin Newsom is one of the ones that's calling Trump all kinds of dictators for deploying the National Guard. In 2020, Gavin Newsom deployed the National Guard to Los Angeles. After the George Floyd Summer of Love, it came and said hello to my neighborhood. We had rioting in my neighborhood. There were like buildings on fire, all kinds of stuff. So it was Gavin Newsom who deployed the National Guard, and they were out for a week straight. They were all over our neighborhood. They were standing on like every corner. They were on rooftops. I still have video of it. And now he's being so hypocritical, calling Trump a dictator for deploying it in Washington, D.C. And if you listen to a lot of residents in Washington, D.C., they welcome it, just as I did when they came to my neighborhood. And West Hollywood is one of the most liberal cities with some of the most liberal people, and everybody there welcomed the National Guard because they were keeping our neighborhood safe and like monitoring our neighborhood. Why would you not want that? Trump did not deploy it in California. If he did, he recently deployed them in California, yes, but in 2020. Thank you so much, Steven. Hi, long time no see. In 2020, Gavin Newsom deployed like 8,000 National Guard all over in city areas where there was like political unrest. But yes, you are right. Trump deployed National Guard in Los Angeles recently. I think they're pretty much gone now. But I mean, that was, and it's on video, you had rioters basically like throwing rocks at federal agents. You can't be doing that. So yeah, they were deployed, and I don't blame him for deploying the National Guard. But it was funny too, because there you have Gavin Newsom again calling him all kinds of dictators for deploying the National Guard in Los Angeles as well, when he did it just a few years ago. You know, Gavin Newsom is lying when his mouth is moving, essentially. Here's a DC resident.
Born and raised in DC. Are you working in the area or just tourists right now?
Not far from here.
Where if you don't have to tell me. Are you from the area of DC or are you a tourist?
Born and raised.
You're born and raised in DC. Are you working in the area or just tourists? Right.
Actually, no, the funny thing about Gavin Newsom and his hands moving, that's so true. Whenever he gets uncomfortable, his hands do a lot of weird stuff. They just start moving in all kinds of different directions. Trump defrauded American contractors. What do you mean? Thank you so much, Steven. You look amazing today. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll take a compliment.
Right now,
Not far from here.
if you don't have to tell me, but where do you work?
I work at a law firm.
So you're an attorney?
Oh, in the 90s?
No,
I don't know about that.
Oh, cool. So what are your thoughts on today? We're talking about DC crime rates. Is it safe to live in DC? Do you agree with President Trump federalizing for 30 days to sort of stamp down on crime? What are your thoughts?
I agree with it. I was born and raised in the district.
Oh,
and
I'll
I've
address the
never
Epstein
seen
comments.
The thing
I love that subject because I happen to know a lot about that subject. So, haha, I will address that. But we'll finish listening to this.
that I see today with children as young as 3 years old being shot. I mean, where does that happen? I think it's a bad idea to fear what this president is doing. I mean, he actually lives in the city now. I mean, come on. He would be foolish, I think, to ignore things like that. A child, 3 years old, being shot, or people being shot on the bus. I mean, that happened in upper Northwest Washington, D.C.
Also, the District of Columbia, that is essentially like a federal district. So Trump is in control of the federal government, so he very much can deploy the National Guard there because it's a federal district. It's not a state.
So, I mean, I think I
People in upper Northwest and like the areas, because it's hard finding actual DC residents here in this area. Mm-hmm. It's mostly like bureaucrats.
You look like I haven't gotten Jennifer Aniston in so long. I used to get her all the time.
And whatnot. It's not the real DC people. Yeah. Do they generally support this? Do they feel like they want crime to be under control, or are they against it?
I do. I believe that most people that live here, that work hard every day and have families, they want the crime rate to be.
I was a voice actor, so that's kind of a compliment that I sound like Bart Simpson.
brought under control. They want the situation of, like I said, children being shot, seniors being assaulted. They want that under control. And I believe that this is the best thing that has happened to this city in a very, very long time, for the president to take control and, of the police, of the crime. I think it's a great idea. I really, really do.
Question for me now. Where in DC, I'm new to DC and I actually live in Virginia on the borderline in Arlington. If I wanted to go talk to real DC people, not bureaucrats, not lobbyists, not people working in the area, like people that are actually born and raised here, where would I go to find them and actually ask questions like this?
I would say, kind of in the, probably just northwest and southeast, from like the higher rate of
You're not, Danielle.
socioeconomic areas, and then maybe where people were struggling.
Right.
I think really actually where people are struggling.
If you could give me have it like a shopping area that I could look up, that where I could go, there's people walking around that I could walk up to on the street, maybe like a city center area where there's like people just walking that I could talk to.
Say Pennsylvania Avenue, southeast.
What would the cross street be?
That would be it would be more like Potomac Avenue neighborhood, the Potomac Avenue neighborhood.
Let me put that just in case that thank you for this information.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to address those Epstein comments. It's so funny that people still are on the Trump and Epstein thing. So first, let's just take a step back and just common sense. The Biden administration was in charge for the past 4 years. They would do anything to take down Trump. So why wouldn't, if he was implicated in those files, why would they not release them? Don't you think they would love anything more than to take him down? Also, so just put that aside. That to me is just like common sense thinking. Also, here are the facts, and this has been known for a really, really long time. So is Trump probably mentioned somewhere within the files? Probably, because him and Epstein both lived in Palm Beach. They were both very high-profile men. They were around in the same circles. I do believe Trump did borrow his plane once, but he flew within the United States. I don't even think Epstein was on the plane. I believe it was, I can't remember what year it was, but Trump actually kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. Virginia Guthrie, I never say her name right, but Virginia, one of the most high profile victim, was actually interviewed. It's documented where she said she never saw Trump do anything inappropriate, never saw him on the island, never saw him on the plane, and never felt uncomfortable or weird or anything like that. Also, I can't remember the year. I want to say 2009, but you can look. Again, this has been public information for the longest time. Trump is one of the only people that fully cooperated with one of the lawyers of the victims. He talked to Trump. Trump actually gave him a lot of useful information, and he later said he didn't feel like Trump ever had anything bad. Trump said, call me as much as you want. I'll let you know anything that you want to know. I'll tell you everything. And he was one of the only people that cooperated with this lawyer and actually gave him really useful information. Also, you can look all of this up. It's all public. It's not a secret. Jeffrey Epstein's very own lawyer that was assigned to him like days before his death actually came out and defended Trump as well. He said, what did he say? I don't know exactly what he said. You can look it up. Like I said, it's all public. So if you want to know, just look it up. I don't know exactly what he said. And I don't even know if the lawyer can even tell that, if it's like that privilege thing. So Jeffrey Epstein's very own lawyer came out and said recently, again, this is public, he came out and said that he flat out asked Jeffrey Epstein a week before his death, did Trump do anything inappropriate or anything? And Jeffrey Epstein himself said no. Not only that, Ghislaine Maxwell recently, again, you can look all of this up, it's all public. Ghislaine Maxwell recently even said that she never saw Trump do anything inappropriate. So there's literally zero evidence that is publicly available that Trump ever did anything inappropriate. In fact, he was one of the earliest ones that thought Jeffrey Epstein was creepy and banned him from Mar-a-Lago. But were they probably in the same circles? Yeah. And I bet there's probably other people that are really high profile that are named in those files, but aren't necessarily guilty of crimes because he was a very high profile person that was in a lot of social circles. So not everyone that's probably named somewhere in the files did anything wrong. The two conspirators didn't want angry sitting president, huh? Epstein just looks like a creep. Yeah, he does. Hello. He did. I mean, you can say that, but if you're going to say that, what did he do? You can't answer that. You can say that all you want, but no one's going to take you seriously without evidence. Honestly, would anyone here trust your daughter alone with Trump? That's again, what evidence do you have that he's done anything creepy? You're wrong. It's a fact. Okay, you're believable. You can look it up. It's all public information. In fact, this has been public information, a lot of this, for a very long time. People just have selective hearing and selective information gathering because they just don't like him so much. They want him to be guilty, even if we have no evidence of any guilt with anything. And if he was, I would say otherwise. So there's that. Let's just start blocking people. People are annoying. Bye-bye. Evidence. You care about look it up. I'd be worried Trump would make a business girl. There you go. Block people. No, I just block people that are annoying. I did look it up. I just told you what I found. I've found this interesting for years. So yeah, I have years of looking it up. What are you guys talking about? Oh my gosh. See, you give people an answer, you give them things and they don't want to hear it. That's what I find annoying. You look it up because you make claims that, oh my gosh, I just told you things that are documented. I did look it up and I'm telling you what I found. Bye-bye. Oh my gosh. Bye, Renee. I still think he should be, I still think the list should be released, but one at a time. Yeah. And I don't know, I've been hearing as well that there isn't like an actual like list, like there isn't like a little black book with like a client list. Like there isn't something like that. Who's a grifter? Crazy felon. You do know that 90% of the people of the residents in Washington, D.C. Like having the National Guard there because they live in a crime-ridden city and they would like to be safe. He's calling me a grifter. Then why are you in my live? Are you that boring of a person? Where you're just sitting in someone's live that you don't like? So much TDS, I know. Where did I get that poll from? Here we go. Actually, MSNBC. do, do, do. Yeah. Do you support Trump? Yes. Politics brings out the worst in people. Oh, I know, I see it.
And I live in Washington. This is personal for me. Many people are frustrated with crime that we see, particularly committed by juveniles in the city of Washington. People are frustrated, Willie, that when they go to CVS to buy deodorant, that they have to get it from behind locked plexiglass, right? But the response here, and let me say this, right? These are not just random anecdotes. What we see in Washington Post polling, among others, is that roughly half of DC residents, mostly half of DC residents, view this as a serious problem or an extremely serious problem. And I live in Washington. This is personal for me. Many people are.
Actually, I was wrong. This is CNN. Oh, where'd it go?
The answer to this problem for Democrats is not, oh, everything's okay. There's nothing to see here.
No.
Move along, move along. Oh, Washington.
I'm not in DC. I was actually there recently. I'm not that far away from DC.
The answer to this problem for Democrats is not, oh, everything's okay.
I agree,
There's
Gina.
nothing to see here. Move along, move along. Oh, Washington has dropped 24% or whatever in crime. Well, let me give you some other numbers. The Washington Post took a poll at late April, early May. 91% of Washington residents say crime is a problem.
Yeah.
91%. 51%, it is an extremely serious problem. And John Heilman, we've had people before put this in racial terms. And this is, I must say, this is one thing that I think Democrats have gotten so wrong about crime. So wrong about crime. Let me just read the Washington Post here. There are stark divides among lines of race and income in the poll, with black residents and lower income residents significantly more worried about crime than white residents and those with higher incomes. As they were last year, black women are among the
I would imagine they probably do. Now
most concerned, with 65% saying crime is a very or extremely serious issue, compared with 82% who said the same thing last year. The answer to this.
And like I said, in California, Gavin Newsom, our governor, deployed the National Guard in 2020 because we had riots come to our neighborhood. And I was in West Hollywood at the time. That's one of the most liberal cities. And everyone there was very, very happy to see the National Guard. Very happy. I know, like, you can get people to believe anything. They don't really know until it affects them personally. Yeah. A lot of people who have these opinions probably don't live in an area where there's a lot of crime. And one of the reasons I turned the way that I did is because it started affecting me personally. The crime that was coming in my neighborhood in California. And so many of these people, they talk, but they don't have to live in these areas. They don't have to put up with this. They're just so hyper partisan. And I think it's really sad that we're that divided as a nation, where now they're just like, they're like pro crime. I actually think, oh, where was it? Was it CNN? It's a trap. Joe Scarborough. Do you know what martial law is? I'm the partisan one. Do you know what martial law is? I love Jasmine Crockett. She's the best. She is the best. Where is it's a trap? Where is that? No, I can't find it. Oh, I know. Actually, there was a story that just came out about Jasmine Crockett recently. Apparently, she's horrible to her staff, and her staff leaked all this stuff. Democrat Representative Jasmine Crockett, one of the most prominent anti-Trump voices in Congress, is the subject of a scathing report this week that labels her as a diva and someone who terrorizes staff members. I'm not surprised at all. Several congressional aides who worked for or with Crockett told the New York Post this week that Crockett, 44, described the firebrand congresswoman as rude and rarely present in her Washington, D.C. office, except when the cameras are rolling. I believe that. She's laying around her apartment, won't come into office, and she's really just indifferent to staff and will scream at them, one formal aide said, adding that Crockett is never in the office and very disengaged. The former staff added that Crockett freaks out over the most random things. Another source that is widely known, that Crockett mistreats her staff and is a diva that is focused almost exclusively on being an influencer. Shocker. That's the problem with a lot of people in politics, not just Jasmine and not just Democrats. It seems like they just more want to be influencers than actual politicians. They just want to be famous influencers instead of actual politicians. And that's true on both sides. The report goes on to say that Crockett usually works from a luxury office building instead of her office and is known for requiring staffers to drive her short distances in a rented car rather than their personal car, which is typically... Yeah, I will never understand people that will get into a live by someone they clearly don't like just to be like that. That is a very sad existence. I'm trying to block them. This staff, oh my goodness, bye-bye. The staff is really just an island unto itself because she doesn't care about the local issues happening in her district. She's more focused on get me on The View, get me on this late night talk show. Hello. So for some reason, whenever I do a live directly on the app, that's why you see so many trolls. When I do it from my StreamYard, you won't see it. But whenever I go, for some reason, directly on the app, it brings in a lot of people that aren't necessarily subscribed to the channel. So that's why you're seeing all the trolls. Lots of trolls today, but that's okay. Trump has saved America. God bless President Trump. You're just too soft. Okay. Can we talk about Maxwell being moved and being on work furlough? Huh? Thank you, Robert. But the good news is I think we get more subscribers when we do live this way. But you also get lots of trolls. Yeah, see, you get a lot more subscribers this way, but lots of trolls. She has, oh wait, okay, here, let me see this update. Cool, I like to hear different opinions. Thank you, Tracy. I do too. I don't need to like, I hang out with Democrats all the time and I'll just be quiet and listen. I don't always have to put my opinion into everything because I'm actually curious as to why people think what they, okay, so Ghislaine Maxwell, so she is being moved? Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, troll. Yeah, trolls are different than difference in opinion. Those are two different things. Okay, Ghislaine Maxwell's controversial prison transfer following her interview with a Justice Department official raises substantial concerns the administration may be trying to tamper with a witness, some House Judiciary Democrats argued in a recent letter. The big picture, the move of the convicted trafficker who was serving a 20-year prison sentence in Florida to a minimum security facility in Texas was slammed by the family of Virginia and other Epstein accusers, arguing it smacks of a cover-up. Maxwell, who is pushing to have her conviction appealed, has been the subject of ire and speculation amid backlash towards the Trump administration's handling of the Epstein evidence. She met with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche last month, who interviewed her for 2 days. Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee, led by Ranking Member Jamie Raskin, are now demanding answers on Maxwell's transfer, as well as all documents and information related to the interview. These actions raise substantial concerns that the administration may now be attempting to tamper with crucial witness, conceal President Trump's relationship, and coach Miss Maxwell into providing false, misleading testimony. Trump told reporters earlier this month that he didn't know about Maxwell's transfer. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer, a Republican, has also issued a subpoena to subpoena Maxwell for a since delayed deposition originally set for this month. I would really like to see that. The Democratic lawmakers requested a slew of documents, including a list of administration officials aware of Maxwell's transfer. Do we know why she was transferred? Oh, Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer addresses bombshell work release report. Meet Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell's legal ace pulling out all the stops to get her out of prison. Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in 2021, but her attorney is lobbying to secure an early release. Yeah, that's going to look really bad on the Trump administration if whatever they do have is not released and she is released. I don't think that would happen. But that's not going to be a really good look for the Trump administration. And it was never really, if you look at what Trump campaigned for, he never promised to release those files. He never did. That was Pam Bondi once everyone was in office. And I think that was a huge, huge blunder on her part. She basically said, the files are on my desk. You're not going to believe what's in them. And then all of a sudden it was like, wah, wah, wah. Where did they go? So Trump did discuss releasing information related to the Epstein file investigation while campaigning for the presidency in 2024, although with some nuance. During a 2024 interview, Trump stated that he would consider releasing more. See, he never promised. He said he would consider releasing more information if reelected, though he also expressed concern about the potential impact on third parties and the possibility of phony stuff within the files. This suggests a cautious approach to the release of the information. He reiterated a more firm pledge to release Epstein files during a podcast in September of 24, saying that he would certainly take a look at it and had no problem with it. So that's very different than saying they are on my desk and they will be released. That's basically entertaining the idea. Why are you just repeating the same thing? Go away. Oh no, the TDS is going to come out.
I signed one big, beautiful bill and allowed no...
I'm doing some heavy mental gymnastics to defend the orange man. How am I doing heavy mental gymnastics? I told you everything that goes back years.
Last month.
Oh no, the TDS is going to come out. Go away, B. He said if he could, he would, yeah. DC is a nightmare. I believe it. Actually, a really good friend of mine who I was in DC with, he got robbed at gunpoint a few years ago in DC. That's who I was recently with in Washington, DC. Hello from Florida. Yeah. If you haven't noticed, everything has a I know. I feel like too, there's always the people that will tell you everything is a distraction too. Alaska. Hi, Texas. Please don't get Mar-a-Lago face. I won't, I promise. All right, y'all. I think that's everything I have for you today. Thank you for joining. Thank you, trolls, for joining. Why do you keep saying that? Go away. All right, you all. I hope you have a really good afternoon. Oh, man. Thank you. All right, you all. Well, I'll see you later. I might be back later tonight. Y'all have a good day. Bye.